They should already have in place. If they don't, I've got the list there, so just one.
Some of the ones that were supposed to be like 3 of them were supposed to be here, but they were online, so I just put online.
Good morning. While Naomi is just going around and checking names off the list, does anybody not have access to the judging platform? Does anybody not have access to the judging platform? So you've got the code, so the access code will work. So you can click on the link, but I'll give you a different code. Yeah. We need this code here. Okay. Do you write your name on this? Actually, sorry. Would you just write your name next to that code, and that's the code. Okay, welcome. Just before we get started, can I just check, does everybody have access to the judging platform? If anybody doesn't, please raise your hand now. Excellent. So, welcome. My name's Charlie. I'm the Partnerships and Engagement Manager at Enactus UK, and I'll be serving as your Competition Manager today. I know that conflicts of interest were addressed during the Enactus Experience session, but just to clarify, Enactus alumni or Business Advisory Board members may not judge in the league in which their team is competing. If you're either an Enactus alumni or BAB member from one of the teams presenting in this league, please identify yourself so we can assign you to a different league. I'd like to take a minute just to remind you of a few things as we get started this morning. Each of you must be present during the entire presentation made by each team in order for each of your votes to be counted. Please make sure you're able to access the platform by the link and code provided in your email. Identify yourself immediately if you do not have the link or the code. All individual team evaluations and results from today's competition are to be kept completely confidential. The teams will receive your qualitative feedback to reflect on how to continue improving the impact of their programs. We recognise that you'll be using your personal devices to judge the student presentations. We kindly ask you to mute your devices or put them on silent. We also kindly request that your focus remains on our student presentations during your time with us today. One extra thing, when the students come in and they have their setup time, which will be 3 minutes long to check their sound, audio and visual, it's a good idea to use that time to check the annual report of that team, which will be available at the top of the page for the link at the start of that team's presentation. Before we start with the first presentation of this league and we let the audience in, are there any questions that the judges have at this time? Perfect. Thank you very much. Let's have you. Yeah, no problem.
Judges, please help me welcome the team from Azerbaijan. They are presenting in person today. The team will have 3 minutes for setup.
Good morning, guys.
Hello.
Some awkward silence.
Welcome to Azerbaijan.
Fire, where the
It works. It works.
It's good.
There is 1 minute before the presentation begins.
I'll give you one. They have a lot. It's a flower, yeah. It's a national symbol of Azerbaijan.
You may now begin your presentation.
Welcome to Azerbaijan, the land of fire, where the harmony of antiquity and natural beauty creates the inimitable view full of unique landscapes, from steep valleys to skyscraping mountains, from lakes to beautiful forests. Azerbaijan, the historical homeland of oil in the world, is a country full of natural resources, and its petroleum industry makes up the main part of the country's economy. Our country is a cradle of diversity. Azerbaijan has integrated the cultures of Europe and Asia for many centuries. As a result of this integration, our country has hosted several international events, such as Eurovision, Euro 2020, the first European Games, and Formula One races. For 6 years, Formula One vehicles have been competing in our streets. Thanks to the technologies and infrastructure, these supercars can easily reach up to 360 kilometers per hour.
But did we provide the same infrastructure for wheelchairs? Can they move so flexibly as well?
When I was a child, my grandmother gained a severe visual disability and spent the last 20 years of her life with it. She was the one taking care of my brother and me, even though she couldn't really see us. My family really struggled with accessibility in my town. We couldn't leave our apartment as there was no inclusion for my grandmother. When she needed a hospital visit, we had to think of ways how to best get there.
Was she the only one who suffered from this problem? Spending all our money, energy and childhood to deal with inclusion issues, I couldn't help but think of other people with disabilities in my community who had to struggle with the most basic daily function, traveling.
According to World Health Organization report in 2021, there are 1 billion people with disabilities in the world. In Azerbaijan, there are nearly 620,000 people with disabilities. There are around 1 million public buildings with no proper disability access. People with disabilities complain about their everyday problems.
We can't freely use public transport. We can't move on sidewalks. We can't enter buildings.
We can't eat out, go to a hospital or a school because none of them are built for us, even though they have to be by the law.
According to the country's transport agency, 78% of buses are not fit for people with disabilities. Doors are narrow for wheelchairs, elevators are not inclusive, and buildings are not equipped with the Braille alphabet.
Mənim adım Xəyalyan. Mən fiziki məhdudiyyətli şəxsəm. Cəmiyyət içinə çıxanda bizə pilləkənlərdə heç bir şərait olmadığına görə bizə çox çətindir. Qarşımızdakı insanlar buna normal baxa bilər, amma cəmiyyətə çıxanda heç bir yerdə şərait olmaması, köməyin olmaması bizə çox sıxıcı gəlir. Şəhərdə olan binalarda, mərkəzlərdə pansların, liftlərin olmaması bizə çox maneəçilik yaradır. İstəyərdim ki, yeni yaşayış binalarında və mərkəzlərdə, parklarda pansların hazırlanması, pilləkənlərin düzgün qoyulması, liftlərin qoyulmasını istəyərəm.
Keka Maps monitors public buildings we just mentioned. Users flag and transmit the data of inaccessible buildings, and we send all of this to local authorities. It's now their turn to take an action and fix this building.
So far, the users have checked the streets of 175 kilometers in length, and over 26,000 buildings have been mapped. As a result, we've been able to fix 10% of all the reports logged on the website.
Our freemium model, when we send our regular monitoring reports to local authorities, helps us charge them if they need more data than we have already provided.
We have an easy cost structure. We only pay for website maintenance and marketing expenses. Our actual product comes in for free since we use volunteer-generated report. During the last 12 months, our revenues exceeded 60,000 euros, most of which came from grants and sales. We're the official inclusion monitoring partner for 23 city authorities in Azerbaijan who are paying us for our data. In addition, we've also certified over 1,600 venues in the city of Baku who have subscribed to our accessibility certifications.
We started in 2021, and within 1 year, we mapped over 26,000 buildings. We get into partnership with local authorities to make our efforts to be taken care of. It was not very easy for us at the start, but having more than 50 people with disabilities in our community, we were able to push for this change. Our next step is Kyrgyzstan. We already have a funded project in Bishkek to launch our map there.
Keka Maps is the first and only inclusive map brand in Azerbaijan. However, there are some alternatives worldwide. For example, Google Maps has a similar feature, but it's not available in Azerbaijan and many similar countries. From Germany, Wheelmap is another competitor, but Keka Maps has a better interface and a stronger proposition to attract volunteers.
We reach our users by bringing them to one physical place to use Keka Maps. We organize our mapathons, reporting sprints where volunteers get together to map selected streets on the platform. And we reach our users by sending them our regular monitoring reports and promoting our work on social media.
Leaving all of this work behind, I can't help but feel proud for the contributions we've made for people like my grandmother in our country. However, my grandmother couldn't get a job either after gaining her disability, which led us to think if disabled people could get decent jobs. The reality is, in Azerbaijan, 82% of people with disabilities are unemployed. To solve this problem, our team has launched the Limitless platform.
Limitless website is designed in accordance with feedbacks from people with disabilities in a minimalist style. Our platform includes 4 different functions that will make it easier for people with disabilities to find the opportunities they need. Let's take a closer look at these functions.
Just imagine a bicycle. In order to move forward, you need to spin the pedals, and when you stop spinning, the bike will stop as well. If we imagine ourselves to be bicycles, then our pedals would be our labor.
The logic is simple. People need to work in order to develop. Therefore, our first section was created for people with disabilities to start their own small businesses.
Their businesses consist of listing their handmade products for sale on the website. This will ensure their financial independence and help them better integrate into society. So far, over 500 products, such as handmade bags, toys, accessories, adaptive clothing, and etc. has been listed for sale, and 46 beneficiaries each were able to make on average $122 from the proceeds.
Second function was created for placing job advertisements with suitable and favorable conditions for people with disabilities by bringing job seekers and employers to the right focus. So far, thanks to 100 job announcements on our website, 70 people with disabilities have been employed.
Since there are very few stores in Azerbaijan selling products for special needs, it's very difficult and time-consuming to find them. In order to facilitate this process and raise awareness about special needs products, we created another section where users can find the product they want from our catalog and get it by just at a click.
Based on our 720-hour research, we can see that people with disabilities are more likely to face with discrimination resulting from excess compassion, which is the result of low awareness. To overcome this misunderstanding in our society, we have shared 20 blogs about inclusive development.
The main source of project funding is a 6% commission from the sales of special equipment and handicrafts. Since the initiation of our project, we've been able to secure on average $360 per month. This income raise helps us cover the main expenses and keep up with the project's costs, such as handicraft fairs, advertisement, and website maintenance.
Throughout the process, we stay in touch with our users through our platform and social networks such as Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thanks to this contact, we often get feedbacks from our users and further improve our website and develop new functions.
As Enactus Unique, we work towards establishing an inclusive society where differences are accepted and everyone is a full-fledged member. Our main goal is to make sure that people with disabilities are not discriminated against and can reach their full potential. We made a significant impact on people like my grandmother, and we hope the future generation of people with disabilities will also benefit from our ideas.
Limitless and Kika Maps projects also serve this purpose, and they succeed daily. Hope to see you in a limitless society.
The presentation has now ended. We will begin the question and answer period.
Thank you very much, team, for your presentation, and thank you for the impact that you're making. My question is, I see that most of your the products are mainly found online, but I do understand that we have other disabled people that do not even have access to smartphones or the internet. So how are you impacting the rural community Are you doing any awareness programs so that they are also aware that this solution exists for them?
We are aware of that issue, that not all people with disabilities have access to internet and smartphones, the privileges that we have, and we try to work with the regions of Azerbaijan. It is not as severe an issue in Azerbaijan because most people do have access, and the thing with technology is that it's the most accessible thing in the world, and when people with disabilities, they can't have the accessibility outside, they tend to choose technology, be connected, be on the grid. So it's a different situation for our beneficiaries because for the most part they do have internet. But for the people that don't, we try to make it more accessible for them. And that's why we also have Keka Maps so that they can actually go out and get the products they want.
So I have online, Brett Lux asks, when you've mapped a location without effective accessibility, does this trigger efforts to improve the facility? If so, how is this managed, funded?
Can you repeat the question?
When you have mapped a location without effective accessibility, does this trigger efforts to improve the facility? If so, how is this managed, funded?
Managed and funded?
Managed or funded, yes.
Yes. Basically, it's based on local legislation in Azerbaijan. There's quite a few pieces that says that all the buildings need to be accessible for people with disabilities, and there are quite a few businesses that are not compiling to that. So when they send the report, we send it to local authorities. We've got a partnership with them. They do look at our reports, and if it's their, let's say, community, if it's their area, they go and speak, push the owner of that building, if it's the state, the agency, if it's a private building, the owner, so that they are in line with the law, and it's funded. If it's a state building, it's funded by the state. If it's a private building, the owner pays for the costs.
A great presentation, thank you. My question, 70 people found a job. Is there any form of support for follow these people and that it are sustainable jobs?
It does depend on the type of jobs. Some jobs are temporary, some are longer term. But the function of the website is to make sure that they have at least a job that they can continue, and it depends on the employer and the nature of the job if they're looking for it. But we're working on the initial phase so that they at least have a job, and then later if they prove themselves to be good workers, of course they'll be able to secure this job or gain the experience to get another job.
I have Vanessa de Armas. She asked, based on the limitless statistics provided, there is a 36.4 unsuccessful. Any root cause identified? Is there a way to turn into a successful rate?
What's that rate of unsuccessful? Is it about the jobs?
I just have to read it how they write it.
Can you read it again, because I don't understand it?
Based on the limitless statistics provided, there is a 36.4% unsuccessful. Any root cause identified? Is there a way to turn into job successful rate? And she just wrote yes for job applications.
Okay, for the job applications, it also depends a lot on the employer and if they're disabled, if they're ableist, what kind of prejudice they have against people with disabilities. Sometimes they don't want to hire. Sometimes it's a marketing trick that they want to do to show themselves as inclusive. And sometimes it also depends on the applicants. If they don't have the capacities or the requirements for the job, they don't get hired, which is the case for basically anyone.
Hi, thank you for your presentation and for all the great impact you're doing. I have a specific question about the percentage of commission you take on the online sales. How does this percent compare to other companies such as Amazon and other e-commerce platforms?
I'm sorry, but the time has expired. Please join me in thanking Azerbaijan for the presentation and hard work.
Thank you.
Well, we just
check the microphone levels for the online.
Okay.
Here.
Las personas que están en online me están diciendo que están teniendo un pequeño feedback. Y mi mío está apagado ahora. No. Pero me escribieron. Can we please see if the microphone feed volume can be turned down a bit for the online judges? We're getting a lot of feedback.
Aquí tiene un octavo ahí para que lo ponga ahí y se escuche ahí.
Okay.
Para no tener que ver nada.
Ellos están escuchando esto, ¿verdad? Hello. For the judges that are online, we're going to be verifying the issue with the feedback right now. We hopefully are going to be able to fix it. So if you hear me speaking, is that we're doing a test. ¿Quieres cogerle aquellos micrófonos también? Okay, we're gonna go. Judges, please help me to welcome the team from Germany. They are presenting in person today. The team will have 3 minutes for setup.
Hello.
Ja, da ist noch nichts. Doch.
Hello.
Wunderbar.
Yes.
There is 1 minute before the presentation begins. You may now begin your presentation.
Forests. They cover over 30% of our planet's landmass. The ecosystems they create play an essential role in enabling life on Earth and act as an important buffer against climate change. In recent years, climate change went from something scientists warn us about to a threat we face on a daily basis. The giant flood in Pakistan dried up rivers in Europe, and the Horn of Africa faced the worst drought in 40 years. Forests are our best shield against climate change and the catastrophes of global warming.
But forests are shrinking at an alarming rate. Agriculture and wood fuel consumption pose a big threat to our forests. In Africa, more than 90% of harvested wood is used as a cooking fuel, as it is affordable. 1/3 of it is harvested non-sustainably, leading to the degradation of huge areas. Governments have already recognized this problem. To save our forests, they started banning wood fuels. This cannot be the solution. Alternatives like gas or electricity are too expensive, and people need affordable fuels for cooking.
We are Enactus Aachen, a group of students from the RWTH Aachen University, one of the leading technical universities in Germany. We love engineering, so we did what we do best, turn groundbreaking research into technical solutions. As Recycle, we developed Sona S, a system that converts unused harvest waste into sustainable coal for cooking, called biochar. Here are the 3 most important things about our system. First, simplicity. It is cheap and easy to build, made of a recycled barrel and 2 metal tubes. Everyone can build it. Second, efficiency. It is 2 times more effective than traditional methods. It converts 20 kilograms of harvest waste into 7 kilograms of biochar in under 1 hour. And third, self-sufficiency. Without the need for external energy, it can be used everywhere.
On average, a family in Rwanda spends 7 to 10% of their annual income on firewood for cooking. Instead, they could invest these $60 in a recycled system and produce their own sustainable cooking fuel. They become independent from buying cooking fuel, and after 12 months of payoff, the system is owned by the family. Biochar that is not used for personal consumption can be sold at a profit, increasing the income of the family. Our partner Leonidas is one of our early adopters who saw the potential and took the chance. Together with him, we were able to reach and exceed our goals. We empowered him to diversify his business by starting to produce biochar. Today, he owns 9 systems and employs 2 workers full-time in biochar production.
In Rwanda, the government have taken measures to not use the normal charcoal from the tree. There is no one is not allowed to cut these trees. So, and the solution that people have, it's only to buy the gas. Because of this Ukraine war and even this COVID, many people is not able to buy this gas. The mission of our charcoal production is to help our people get the solution for cooking, for getting something to eat without cutting the trees. This recycle charcoals is a solution for those people.
Together with Leonidas, we approach customers in multiple sectors. At the beginning, neighbors came directly to our production site to purchase biochar. Last year, we started to supply a local school, securing our first big customer for biochar. This way, we help to provide healthy meals for more than 350 children. Today, we have a market stall at the largest market in Rwanda, where we promote biochar beyond the local community into the entire city. But our biochar business is not limited to Rwanda. We started a partnership with Your Mission, a non-profit organization working together with farmers in Malawi. Together, we installed 23 systems and managed to sell 1.6 tons of biochar in less than 1 month.
All of our customers benefit from the three main advantages of our biochar: health, sustainability, and habit. Our biochar burns cleaner than wood, causing 83% less household air pollution compared to firewood. The risk of lung diseases like pneumonia and lung cancer is reduced, especially for those most affected, women and children. Made of unused harvest residue, no trees are cut down. Our biochar is a CO2 neutral fuel, so we were able to certify it in Malawi. While firewood is getting banned, our biochar will remain legal. Our USP is that we directly adapt to consumer behavior. People can continue to cook in a traditional way while using sustainable fuel. Our biochar gives people a sustainable, legal, and healthy alternative.
Next to all the benefits as cooking fuel, there is one more thing. Biochar has a huge potential in agriculture. By mixing compost and manure with biochar, we create a soil enhancement called Terra Preta. Terra Preta increases crop yields, stores water and nutrients in the soil, and enhances the fertility of the soil long-term by supporting a healthy microbiome. While working with our partner Your Mission in Malawi, we experienced problems in agriculture. The prices for fertilizer are rising rapidly, and many farmers cannot afford to fertilize their fields anymore. This results in lower yields that put their families at risk.
We saw these problems and took action. In the past year, we started research projects in Malawi on how to produce Terra Preta, testing various compositions and ratios in 3 controlled trials. We got groundbreaking results. With our mixture, we managed to increase our harvest 4-fold in Malawi. Let's visualize this. Here is our harvest without Terra Preta. And this is our harvest after applying Terra Preta to the fields. In our tests in Rwanda, we were able to confirm these findings.
I did a test on Terra Preta with the help of Recycle from German, and the production where I applied Terra Preta was really amazing. The crops, the fruits was very good and big one. Compared to the field without Terra Preta. We are trying to keep helping other communities in Rwanda to implement, to use Terra Preta as organic fertilizer.
With our solution, we approach smallholder farmers in Africa. By adopting Terra Preta, they will save the money on chemical fertilizer and increase their yields significantly, resulting in a 35% higher income. Our soil amendment can be produced locally and doesn't create dependencies on international corporations producing chemical fertilizer. Pressing crises like the war in Ukraine and steadily rising temperatures are putting people at risk to suffer from famine. In these times, Terra Preta is a huge opportunity. Every year, 2 million tons of harvest residue in Rwanda could be turned into 700,000 tons of needed biochar. The potential is so big that we can't meet it with our current system.
That's why we went back to the drawing board, took everything we learned and made it bigger, smarter and more effective. We started the development of our more advanced biochar system, Suna-L. Suna-L is an independent production site that is portable in a shipping container. No power grid is needed, so it can be used everywhere. And due to the recovery of processed gases, it is even more efficient than its little sister. One L can supply the biochar to produce terra preta for 85 smallholder farmers every year. All the biochar could be used to supply 1,400 people with sustainable coal for cooking.
To empower local entrepreneurs to start a biochar business with L, we provide them with the production plant and the training to get started. Each system creates 6 jobs while generating an annual revenue of $75,000. To pay off the initial investment and secure the maintenance of the system, we are compensated with an annual fee of $18,000. After 3 years, our investment is amortized and we become profitable. Our partner makes an annual profit of $6,700 after deduction of all costs.
Next year, we are going to implement our first L production site together with our partner Thorsten Schreiber. As the CEO of Africa Green Tech, he is the pioneer in energy off-grid solutions in Africa. With his expertise and infrastructure, many more sites will follow. We already came a long way, and now we are taking the next big step to realize our mission: increasing the efficiency of agriculture,
reducing firewood consumption,
preserving our forests,
and empower those affected most by climate change.
Take part in our journey as we revolutionize the coal market in Africa. Recycle, biochar for the world.
The presentation has now ended. We will begin the question and answer period.
You're here. Congratulations, what a great job. So a full tank of the char is enough to burn for how many hours?
From the small system? Or?
No, from the biochar. So when you fill the tank with the char, it burns for how many hours?
So the biochar is used like regular coal on a cook stove, and depending on how much coal you use, it burns for half an hour, depending on what you like to cook.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I have 2 questions. The first one is, are you looking at patenting your product? How will you prevent other people from copying your invention? The second one is for the L, that is the advanced equipment. What are the setup costs like? I saw that there are so many solar panels, and in Africa, the initial cost of getting that much solar panels can be very expensive. So how are you planning to raise that amount, and how is it going to benefit the community? Are they going to rent it, or they're going to buy it from you? Are you going to keep owning the product, or you're going to pass it to the community?
Let's start with the patenting. So the small scale system, we are first mover in the market. So this is how we secure that people, or how we secure. It is new in the market, but it's not patented at all. The technology generally of pyrolysis is known, but we are new in the market. To the L system, so the cost of one system is calculated around $40,000 to $50,000, and the solar panels are already priced in that. The benefit to the community is that with the larger system, first we can pay significantly higher wages to the workers of the system, and we can offer the coal at a lower price, which also means that we can offer the soil enhancement, terra preta, at a lower price. The financing model is a franchise-like system. We cover the initial investment and get repaid by a monthly fee that is paid from the revenue of the system.
So I have Tomek asking, how do you find and recruit people to use your system? It's online.
Okay, it's on it. Yes, right now in Rwanda we are working together with our partner Leonidas, and as I told in the presentation, the neighbors are coming to us. We are working together with a school, and that's how we will do it. With our Suno-L system, we are focusing on small businesses, for example, restaurants and other small companies, and we are producing the charcoals for private households. And because we already have a big network in Rwanda and Malawi, it will be easy for us to get more customers.
So, as I understand it, the main impact of this project is on carbon emissions, specifically from saving trees from being cut down. Being that the outcome is, or your product is carbon neutral, take that as face value at this point, but the only way to compound on this impact is to save more trees or plant more trees. Do you have any efforts on reforestation efforts, or to increase, the forests in these areas?
We currently don't have reforestation efforts. The main effort is to save trees from being cut down and increase agriculture yields, so we can prevent that more forest areas need to be cut down to generate more.
I'm sorry, but the time has expired. Judges, please join me in thanking Germany for their presentation and hard work. Judges, please help me welcome the team from Canada. They are presenting in person today. The team will have 3 minutes for setup.
Apple.
Palm.
Manzana. Hey, Danielle, why did the apple stop in the middle of the road? It ran out of juice. Hey, Danielle, you're the apple of my eye. Aw, you're awesome to the core. Maybe we should branch out into some other fruits. Ooh, that'd be just peachy.
There is 1 minute before the presentation begins. You may now begin your presentation.
Healthy food on the table. It's something most Canadians take for granted, but for millions of people in our country, there's no such guarantee. An estimated 5.8 million Canadians face food insecurity, and it's getting worse.
We've all seen the headlines. Global food prices are reaching levels never seen before. Food prices in Canada have risen by 9.7%, the largest annual increase in 40 years, and food bank usage is spiking across the country.
Yet, as Canadians struggle to put food on their tables, food waste is rampant in this country's food system.
36 million tons of food is wasted in Canada every year. Retailers and consumers throw away surplus food, and unwanted produce rots in farmers' fields.
In total, the value of that wasted food is estimated at almost $50 billion annually, and the costs go beyond that.
Canada's wasteful, linear food system squanders the resources used to produce, distribute, and store unused food, leading to enormous water waste and almost 60 million tons of avoidable CO2 emissions every year.
Sadly, this is a global issue.
At Enactus Okanagan College, we are taking entrepreneurial action to shift to a circular food system, one where surplus food is recovered and repurposed to fight food insecurity.
And we've created a fully sustainable social enterprise to do just that, one with real benefits for our community, local businesses, and the environment.
It started in one of the Okanagan Valley's 2,000 orchards, where apples grow on the branches above, yet chronic food waste lies below.
Every year, over 300 million pounds of apples in Canada go to waste for one purely aesthetic reason. They simply don't fit the grocery store appearance standard.
Even mildly misshapen apples fall out of the system as a waste, forcing farmers to either pay for the disposal of unwanted, imperfect apples or leave them to rot in the fields.
In response, we created a social enterprise dedicated to salvaging those unusual apples, an agricultural version of upcycling to reduce food waste.
How does our social enterprise work? Using a sound business plan, we produce a healthy snack while educating future change makers, funded by a revenue model of product sales, all while supporting farmers, helping the environment, and addressing food insecurity.
We partnered with farmers and the North Okanagan Valley Gleaners, a not-for-profit dedicated to alleviating hunger. We developed an innovative way to dehydrate those unwanted apples and convert them into healthy apple chips.
We then donated those apple chips to breakfast and lunch programs in local schools and food banks in our community. And through our collaboration with the Gleaners, our apple chips are feeding people in countries including Guatemala and war-torn Ukraine.
To meet growing demand and expand our apple chip donations, we refined our process, dramatically increasing production by 500%.
This year, we forged partnerships with Food for Thought, a local charity, and 3 school districts to expand our apple chip donations to 51 schools, representing over 22,000 students. This is an increase of 590%.
We run a backpack program and a breakfast program to support some of the over 5,900 children in the central Okanagan that are at risk of food insecurity. We deliver a breakfast program to over 33 schools, which encompass Lake Country, Kelowna, and West Kelowna, by putting that nutritious fruit, apple chips, into those backpacks and sending that food home has been so helpful in providing children with good nutrition when they're not in school, because we all know that hunger doesn't take the weekend off.
We've already expanded our partnership to 3 Canadian nonprofit production partners, and we're collaborating with 2 Enactus teams across Canada to prove this project in a box model.
With the success of our apple chip donations, we started to look for new opportunities to support our community and turned our attention to educational programming.
Our team collaborated with local schools to launch an initiative that teaches kids about social, environmental, and economic issues in our communities.
As a part of the program, the Future Changemakers participated in field trips to a local apple orchard where they helped us rescue the apples.
We then dehydrated those apples, which the students proudly distributed at their schools. The program culminated with classroom visits by our Enactus team members this spring to discuss environmental sustainability and social entrepreneurship.
Kids shouldn't have to worry about not having enough food to eat or not having enough meals every day, and we learned how to help change this.
After receiving amazing feedback, we used our entrepreneurial leadership to further expand this program to high school students. And this summer, we worked with educators to formalize our Planting Seeds curriculum, moving its delivery online. Leveraging the partnerships we have formed with teachers and schools across Canada with one of our previous projects, we expect to reach over 50,000 students with this curriculum for long-lasting positive impact.
With our apple chip donations scaling and our educational program launching, we faced an important challenge. How can we fund these social programs as an economically sustainable social enterprise?
Our solution? Apple juice. Once again, using those beautiful, imperfect apples, we created a high-quality juice with an extended shelf life and a compelling social benefit story.
The value proposition resonated with retailers and customers, allowing us to formally brand and launch our new social enterprise, Unusually Good Food Company, an organization dedicated to doing some good with those unusual apples to fight food insecurity and climate change.
This year, we designed brand new award-winning packaging and retail point-of-purchase materials to reflect our mission. This has allowed us to expand to 13 retail locations across 5 cities in our province.
When I had an opportunity to try the juice, it was just like having a piece of apple pie. Just unbelievable quality. But the part that I like about it the most is it's young people giving back to our community, which is what I should have been doing a long time ago. Producing a product that is not only quality, but the fact that they support our children, the meals program, and the food banks with their apple chip program is just phenomenal.
From the beginning, we've been committed to continuous improvement and innovation to fuel our enterprise and to developing additional revenue streams to fund our social and environmental mission.
This spring, we saw an opportunity to repurpose the apple pomace byproduct from our juice-making operations to produce apple-scented candles, taking significant steps towards achieving a zero-waste social enterprise.
Working with a local candle manufacturer, we produced a test run of these candles and sold out our inventory in only 2 months. As we continue to scale this new product segment, we are confident it will be a growing area of revenue for our social enterprise.
And we've taken inspiration from farmers as well, who have encouraged us to help solve another Canadian food waste issue, cherries. So this summer, we started selling cherry juice, produced from unwanted cherries that would have gone to waste. Our proof of concept was a success, selling out in only 2.5 weeks.
With a growing and diversifying product and fruit portfolio, we have demonstrated a sound business model and that we can replicate and scale our revenue streams, working towards a truly sustainable social enterprise that will achieve long-lasting positive impact.
Through our research and development efforts, we are also prototyping other beverages and products, like apple cereal made from fruit pomace, that my 4 kids taste tested and approved. We have further plans to scale these innovative products.
We're proud to be making change one apple
And one cherry
at a time.
Despite our team facing challenges and supply chain issues, we have shown great strength and resiliency, along with demonstrating our entrepreneurial leadership and innovation to overcome these obstacles.
Environmentally, this year, we repurposed 35,000 pounds of apples from going to waste, and the 13 million liters of water those apples would have used through their life cycle. Our upcycling efforts diverted 156,000 pounds of CO2 emissions.
Socially, we donated over 38,000 servings of apple chips to schools, food banks, and even developing countries. We also educated the next generation of change makers, empowering them to turn their ideas into social entrepreneurship action.
Economically this year, our unusually good products have generated over $18,000 in revenue, an increase of 232% from last year, allowing us to pay farmers for apples that would have rotted in their fields.
And there's an enormous opportunity to expand, considering over 300 million pounds of apples go to waste in Canada every year.
If we could rescue just 5% of these apples, we could generate over $15 million in revenue. And by reinvesting the profits from those sales, we could produce nearly 80 million servings of apple chips to feed children facing food insecurity.
And this is with only 5% of the apples that go to waste in Canada. By expanding this social enterprise internationally, the potential to help those in need is immense.
And this potential has attracted the interest of an impact investor. She brings capital, existing relationships with retail companies, and experience founding and scaling a national food product business. With her help, we can expand across Canada and into several international markets.
We may have started this project in one Canadian orchard, but we are taking this mission worldwide. Globally, 1/3 of all apples produced never make it past the trees they grow on. That's 29 million tons of apples.
We know we can never rescue all of these apples alone, but imagine the impact of Enactus teams from around the world working together to rescue these unusual apples and produce chips and juice to feed those in need from across the globe.
And we aren't just limited to apples. We've already proven that this model can work for fruits and vegetables grown and wasted around the world.
But this unusually good impact goes beyond numbers, because we are not only driving change ourselves, but empowering others to do the same.
Because we believe success isn't only about what you accomplish in your life, it's about what you inspire others to do.
At Enactus Okanagan College,
we are empowering communities
to create change.
The presentation has now ended. We will begin the question and answer period.
Hey, my question is, how do you define which apple could be chosen for the process and which one not? And the second question is about the quality system that you have in the process.
So we choose the apples that are left behind at the end of the growing season. They are left on the trees because they're either too small or they don't have the right shape to make it to the grocery stores. So we utilize those ones to make both our chips and our juice.
And to ensure product quality, we utilize our partnership with the Gleaners and the Mobile Juicing Company, and they are both regulated by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, so our products are fit for consumption.
Great job, guys. Love the presentation. My question is about now that you have had such success and growth on demand, how do you plan to address those challenges that come with that increase in demand? Upscaling your operations and managing those challenges in your supply chain.
Yeah, so we have experienced some challenges, especially due to the seasonality of our production inputs. So our apples and cherries are available from July through October. And one of the ways we are actually mitigating this right now is we're currently prototyping both kale chips and beet chips Those are available to us between November through March, enabling us to have access to fresh produce for 9 months out of the year. We also know that there is a ton of market potential for this. For example, the market for kale chips alone globally is a $300 million market.
So Tomek is asking, your shift production shown CMIT manual. What is the cost of labor and how much could you benefit from automation?
We've been able to actually pay our farmers for their apples, as well as we've hired our first apple picker this year. We pay based on a per weight that this picker picks his apples. So we pay 50 cents per 1,000 liters, which works out to be about 5 cents a pound. The apple orchard we pay them 10 cents a pound for apples. Originally, they have to pay to dispose of these apples. This charge can go anywhere from 10 to 27 cents per pound.
To speak to the automation as well, we have actually already explored automation. It was actually how we were able to increase our production by 500%. Originally, we were using a process where we were cutting large chips out of the apples, and it just wasn't as efficient as what we needed, so we moved to a dicing machine. This gave us a 500% increase in production. It made smaller bite-sized chips, and the children actually loved the smaller chips.
Hi, very cool. Would love to try the juice. My question is around the cost of labor. And so who's actually collecting? So you mentioned that you have an apple picker, and who's actually manufacturing and packaging the juice? And what are those costs to produce the products all the way to the end? And how much revenue are you charging per box of juice that you sell in the store?
We work with a local juicer. She takes care of the entire process from juicing at the orchard on location. She can produce the juice quite efficiently there, as well as she has a very large manufacturing plant at her location. Our contribution margin for the juice is 33%. And I'm sorry, can you repeat the second part of that question?
So you make 33% on the juice. So how do you scale that, and how much revenue goes to that juicing company?
Okay. We charge $20 per box of juice. That's the revenue that we bring in. We pay the juicer $8 per box that's produced, and we're scaling by, our projection is 10,000 boxes of juice next year. After working with this juicer, we're confident that we can achieve that. And by producing that 10,000 a box, we will be able to utilize economies of scale to bring down the cost per box.
And in terms of our apple chips, we are actually utilizing the Gleaners facility and their excess capacity. So we're not producing anything that would have taken extra time or extra resources to do. We are just filling their excess space at no cost.
Thank you for your presentation. I like the zero
I'm
waste
sorry,
aspect.
but the time has expired. Judges, please join me in thank you Canada for the presentation and hard work.
¿Para qué se pone rojo eso? Ahora, en verdad, yo creo que lo que llega después para no es lindo y en verdad es no nada más. Sí, no. Es que no es pipa ni nada, eso es. En realidad, yo no puedo estar subiendo, se supone que yo no subo en mi grupo. Voy a los dejar ahí porque ellos evalúan que yo hago partidos. Eso lo evalúan. Realmente yo lo hago porque si no, no. Si yo supiera que hubiera un flipado de corazón, yo estuviera pero yo sé que no hay nada, porque yo no te estoy enviando nada. Dale, dile que estamos pregando con eso. Le digo, bueno, la no, para que no te sientas mal, we're working with them too. Audio. Audio.
Judges, please help me welcome the team from Ireland. They are presenting in person today. The team will have 3 minutes for setup.
Where am I going?
Feeling good?
Dígwit.
Dígwit.
Dígwit.
Dígwit.
Dígwit.
Now I know how.
Ole,
Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole.
There is 1 minute before the presentation. You may now begin your presentation.
Across the Atlantic Ocean from Puerto Rico is the similar island of Ireland. Both islands are lands of great beauty, friendly people, and lush green environments. However, we are also fighting social and environmental problems that demand swift change. We'd like to present two of our 4 projects, Reframe and Kiangle, that target a variety of these problems. Dígwit, Hazel Sanam Dum.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Sam.
Ni hao, Wadaminza Shur Nessa.
Hola, mi nombre es Michelle.
Marhaban, Ana Esmi Timothy, and this is Elvis on Tech.
We are Team Ireland. I'd like to introduce you to Suzanne, a mother of 2 beautiful daughters who all now live in Ireland. She's originally from Albania, but due to rampant corruption within her home country, the extremely high cost of living, and no employment opportunities, she had to escape in order to be able to provide for her family. In Ireland, she requested asylum and formed a deep friendship and community with other women who have been through similar difficulty. Some of these women have been through strife, hunger, and even war. All of them are now looking to rebuild their lives to be able to provide for their children and families.
4 years ago, Team Ireland started a project called Kiangle to work with these resilient and hardworking refugees. Currently, Kiangle has 3 distinct parts, and the first part is our entrepreneurial activities. This part started when, 2 years ago, some of the Kiangle members had a meeting with Suzanne that changed the project forever. Suzanne expressed a deep desire within her community to upskill by learning practical product making and entrepreneurial skills. They wanted independence and their own income.
Team Ireland were delighted to accept this request, completed a needs assessment, and created a functional business plan. From market analysis, Kangol showed Suzanne that the candle market is a $9.2 billion industry, growing at 6.6% year on year. This is primarily fueled by candles being an easy gift for any occasion, and the incorporation of candles as a focal point in home decor, with customers focusing demand on organic scented candles. Kangol and Suzanne saw candles as a burgeoning market, with a product that could be made with little to no experience. The team at Kangol provided the materials and training via workshops, and Suzanne and her friends provided the immense dedication and a real Enactus can-do attitude.
So Suzanne and her team created the handmade Kangol scented candles, and we later scaled to include accompanying lip balms, which were then sold by students at local markets. Now these products are made from materials that are high quality and environmentally friendly. Each candle is sold for $13, where the equivalent competitor's mid-market candle can range anywhere from $13 to $18. The cost of materials for us for each candle is $5.50. A further $5 goes directly to paying a fair wage to the women who manufactured the candle, and the remaining $2.50 goes towards business growth. As for the lip balms, we sell each for the price of $5. $2.50 is the cost of production, and a further $1 goes towards furthering that business growth.
Suzanne and her community are our unique selling proposition. The purchase made by the customer directly helps those looking to make a new life for themselves. This year, we sold 242 units, resulting in $3,039 in sales revenue. Kangol's second initiative is equipment reuse. We partner with Qualcomm, an American multinational semiconductor company. Our team facilitated the donation of 40 laptops and 19 TVs, costing approximately $58,000 from Qualcomm to Suzanne's community. Such laptops are perfect for student schoolwork, and TVs that are ideal for bringing a community together for a presentation or a candle making workshop.
Kangol's third initiative is education. After Suzanne highlighted how her and her friends' children lacked exposure to educational and career opportunities, Kangol and Qualcomm saw an opportunity to fix this. That's why, for a week, 20 children from Suzanne's community joined Qualcomm to showcase how they too could work in a multinational company like Qualcomm one day. They got amazing presentations, workshops, but they also got to build their own robotics project, sparking an interest in science and engineering. Here you can listen to some fantastic testimonials Kangol has received through all of its activities this year.
Now I know how to make candles and lip balms. This helped a lot during the pandemic, as we'd be locked in our rooms most of the time, and making candles was something to take our minds off the daily life of the pandemic, which affected everyone, moreover those living in direct provision.
Building the robot was really fun and interesting. I definitely want to learn more about this industry and possibly work in it when I'm older.
This workshop is very useful because it builds my confidence and helps me to understand that I can do something useful that will increase my income. It also helps me to socialise with people while discussing and making candles.
Kangol is a project that sells candles and lip balms, but is also a facilitator of opportunity for the disadvantaged like Suzanne and her community. This year we received fantastic seed funding and mentorship from Citibank, finally allowing the project to reach its ultimate goal of outgrowing Enactus. We are proud to say that since June, the business has been handed over to Suzanne and the empowered women in their working group, who have continued Kangol's operations, organizing stalls and selling candles. Kangol is now a fully independent enterprise run by those who we were initially looking to impact. After a few years of direct partnership, we are now taking an advisory role and continuing our relationship with the women in different ways, all thanks to Kangol.
Next, we'd like to introduce our award-winning project, Reframe. This is a team of entrepreneurs with a passion for sustainability and recycling. The team did a needs assessment of the global plastic waste crisis, and the statistics we found were shocking. Did you know that on average globally only 13% of plastic gets recycled? 91% of plastic created has never been recycled. The thing is, plastic is extremely useful, but it's also a curse. Plastic that is incinerated releases dangerous chemicals into the atmosphere, contributing to air pollution. The alternative is landfill. However, most plastics don't biodegrade. Bottle caps, for example, take 450 years to decompose. In our research, we found that there was one major hurdle to increasing plastic recycling. Plastic, once used, has a negative value. It is a capital expense to recycle it and use it again. Each different type of plastic requires its own processes and equipment to recycle it, making it more expensive to recycle, making it cheaper just to incinerate it. The financial incentive to recycle just isn't there.
However, we felt we could create that incentive by turning waste plastic into valuable products. Our initial concept was to remold plastic into a bike frame, creating a new form of sustainable transport. However, talks with machinists showed that this would require a large capital investment. So, we scaled down, we innovated, and we pivoted. We reduced the costs in the molding process and we designed our very own cruiser skateboard. We successfully validated the minimum viable product and we tested it with our target market. In our market analysis, we found that the global skateboard market was worth $2 billion in 2020, rising at a CAGR of 3.1%. This is thanks to a golden age for skateboarding, brought on by social media promoting the sport to young kids, and especially young girls. Now, it's in addition as an Olympic sport, makes it a market with growing demand.
Our skateboard is not about doing tricks. Our cruiser is designed for ease of transport, targeted towards commuting students and young professionals looking for a great alternative to short distance travel. It provides an affordable source of exercise while also allowing the consumer to relish in the fact that they're taking plastic out of the environment. Our skateboards are made from 100% recycled plastic sourced from our university campus and its surrounding communities. Our own team of engineers design and manufacture the skateboard using compression moulding, and we are proud that unlike other processes, ours does not create any microplastic byproduct. We've researched the patent landscape, and we believe our manufacturing methodology and its application is novel, with several IP protection options which we are currently exploring. Once safety certification is achieved, we aim to protect our methodology and make it available for licensing to other skateboard manufacturers.
The skateboards retail for $99.99 to the customer, and we wholesale to the retailer for $65. Labor, electrical, tooling, and the skateboard trucks cost us approximately $40, which leaves us a healthy profit margin of 60%. Our competitor skateboards in Ireland cost between $120 to $200, and they use maple wood, which is a wood that is at risk of extinction. Traditional skateboard manufacturing processes directly contribute to maple deforestation. Our innovative plastic product enjoys a competitive advantage that no other skateboard manufacturers can enjoy. Our skateboards are recyclable, and we are so glad that we received a letter of intent with a local skateboard retailer in Ireland who are excited to stock our product.
Picture our customer Jane is out riding her skateboard. But what happens if it gets damaged? Well, no worry, she sends it back to us and we remelt it into a brand new skateboard for a fee of $25. This innovative business model gives us a profit margin of 50% and recurring revenue from loyal customers like Jane who can easily wear out a new skateboard deck within just a couple of months. It also allows Jane the opportunity to recycle her skateboard anew instead of having to pay for a new, more expensive board. And we are also so excited to announce that our award-winning Reframe has recently secured an impending investment from a private investor to the total of $50,000. We will be using this money to expand our manufacturing process. We are so excited to work with them and we'll be finalizing the details of this agreement shortly.
In early October, we launched a product drop of 20 skateboards, selling out within a week. So far this year, we have sold 35 products, and over the course of next year, our sales forecast is 300 skateboards, bringing in a total revenue of $25,400. Our skateboards provide the long-term impact of adding value to plastic waste and providing the consumer with a sustainable, healthy, and affordable alternative to short-distance travel.
This is how, at Team Ireland, we demonstrated entrepreneurial leadership by identifying a need for educational and entrepreneurial opportunities within the refugee community, while Reframe pivoted its business model when faced with monetary hurdles. Reframe showcased innovation by engineering our own solution that gives value to waste plastic, and by creating a new business model whereby the customer can recycle their product. By using business principles and leveraging relationships, Kyango created a strong business plan, which has now been handed over and run independently by a group of empowered female entrepreneurs. We created a positive, sustainable impact for the planet by recycling the equivalent plastic waste generated by 1.5 people annually.
We directly impacted people by providing educational opportunities. We bolster prosperity through additional income and adding to the entrepreneurial spirit of those wishing to restart their lives. This year, we have raised a total of $138,252.93, and we've directly impacted 202 people this year. We've worked with 14 of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, and we have capitalized on what it means to be an active student, reaching heights like never before, and we are only getting started.
We are Team Ireland.
The presentation has now ended. We will begin the question and answer period.
Hi, great presentation, and I love the product. Really, really good impact. I had one question, though, about the ergonomic design of the board. What kind of thought was put into this? Was there any specific designer that has worked in this industry before or designed this kind of product?
So the skateboards you see here are the initial prototypes we had started. We just brought them, so in case we broke them with that, we wouldn't ruin anything. But with the initial skateboards, these are for cruiser skateboards. So they're not for, you know, going out off on a ramp, doing tricks. They're there for getting from point A to B. So say you're working close by, you want to get to your work quickly, you get on the skateboard, you cruise over there. And the part of that design is mimicking the cruiser skateboard shape. So it's not the traditional skateboard shape, but it takes more inspiration from just comfort, ease of travel, so you can really easily get to where you're going. And within that, it's also something we're continuously working on. So as we mentioned, we got investment for 50,000. That's coming shortly. And what we're hoping to do with that is improve our molds, improve the shape of the skateboard, add a bit of a curve to the skateboard, allow it for better grip when you're riding it, higher comfort, and allowing us to expand even further. So it is something that we're continuously working on, and even in the future we have plans for different shapes and suiting different comforts and different demand by the customer.
So I have online Brett Lux. He's asking 2 questions. The first one is, what is the go-to market strategy for the skateboards, target market and channels? And the second question is, what is the quantity of sources material needed to create a skateboard? How much raw material is needed?
So I can answer just the very last one. Each skateboard is about 2.5 to 3 kg. So that's the amount of plastic we need, and most of that is sourced through bottle caps. But we can also use the likes of milk cartons, other kind of plastic, and the plastic is HDPE, so it's usually the recycling symbol number 2. That's what we use currently, but we're not limited to that. We can use LDPE and PP. It's just our current process uses HDPE. But with market analysis, I think Nessa can...
Yeah, so market analysis, we did that through our target market, which we mentioned was young professionals and students. So we did surveys with our students on our campus, and we also went to our local skate ramp park to see what actual skaters would really think of this product. Would they even use it if they wanted to commute to and from work? So we conducted our market analysis that way and then based our projected figures of 300 skateboards next year through that. And then social media-wise, we'll market through that, as young people typically use that as their target market. So that's kind of our main source of market research and how we'll promote the product after that.
Thank you. I wanted to ask the manufacturing process of the skateboard. Do you have any byproducts when you're manufacturing, when you're redesigning the skateboard, and how are you disposing of it? And then the second question is, are you working with any community members who will eventually take over the project like you did with the first one?
So I suppose in terms of the manufacturing process, for byproducts, no, it's a really, it's a very like one-track system. As we're melting it down, we're not creating the waste or the microplastics. Now, of course, there's a little bit of sanding, but we do that in a very safe area. We collect it all, and then it can be recycled, of course, because it's just bottle caps in a different shape. So it can always be recycled. So it's very easy to dispose of any waste that does come back from the process, which is very little, thanks to the molding. But that's a really good point, bringing up a disadvantaged group. It's something we have been looking into, and I think Hazel's going to talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so in Cork, there is a group called the Dillon Project that work with women, so mothers, daughters, female relatives of those currently residing in Cork prison. They're a project that work very closely with UCC in lots of different aspects. So it's something that we want to look forward to in the future, to using some of the impending investment to be able to provide them with the safety training and the training required to be able to make the skateboards. And then we'll be able to also be able to pay them a fair wage, because obviously for them one of the struggles is to not end up in prison themselves. So it'll be kind of giving them employment, so that is a less likely thing to happen.
Online Tamek asks, what are the candles you presented made of? What is the sourcing of the raw material, and have you considered an environmental impact on that?
Yes, so I can tell you that it's eco soy wax. So we made sure when we were creating the business with the women, we had one kind of strong point that we agreed
I'm
on.
sorry, but the time has expired. Judges, please join me in thanking the team of Ireland for the presentation and hard work.
Do you want to pop your microphone back on the table? All presentations in our league have now ended. Judges, please take 5 minutes to rank the teams that presented today on the judging platform. You may drag and drop the teams in the order you wish to rank them, with 1 being the highest rank and 4 being the lowest. Once you do so, kindly click on Submit. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna keep preparing the email. Huh? That's the only one? Okay, awesome.
¿Cómo estamos? ¿Qué viene ahora?
Nada, ya, acabó.
¿Aló?
Ahora somos nosotros con los jueces.
Solo he visto abrir streaming. Ya para streaming entonces.